Whenever you're ready, Dr. Beardsley, go ahead.
I'm William Beardsley. I'm glad to meet you both, and I appreciate your coming in. I've spoken with you on the phone, Marlene, and I guess I've just met you, Bob. I had a call from your doctor, and she had said that you had some questions about your kids and also had been through a tough time. And we have developed a program for families when parents have gone through a tough time with depression or other similar illnesses. And she thought that it would be helpful to you to come and talk with us. So I wanted to let you know that I'm interested, and the people I work with, in your questions and your concerns, and in particular in what your experiences have been, and in working with you with your kids, if that's something that you choose to do.
I don't think we really have a choice anymore. It's something we have to do. But
Yeah. And can you tell me a little bit about what's been happening or what's been going on?
Well, I wish I could tell you, I guess, more clearly what's been happening, but I mean, I can give you the, you know, kind of time periods and meeting with somebody, and I mean, it's so hard to explain because I can't really understand it myself. Except it's kind of like being in a shroud. But I certainly would like to see if there's something I could do. And there's not much I do, but if there's something, maybe to check with the children, or I guess because I'm not sure how I got here, so I don't know, will they get here? Is there something? I guess, is there something to do?
Yeah, I think those are very good questions. And what we've been trying to do is to help families, because we've found that parents are very much alone with their concerns about their kids, often have worries, often are confused about where to turn. And we've tried to provide help in various ways in dealing with that. I think probably if you choose to work with me, we would talk together about what you've been through and about the kids, and then I would probably meet with them. And we then together would decide what would be most helpful to them. Most of the families we work with then, after they have some sense of what they want to say, have a family meeting with the kids to try to help them understand what you've been going through.
but that's a family meeting with you.
With me there.
Then, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But that's very much for you to decide to do, not for me to tell you to do. But really, maybe you could tell me a little more about both what you've been through and what your concerns are. And I'm interested in both of your points of view. It doesn't have to be one or the other. And I appreciate both of you being here and coming together.
You want to go? You want... My concerns, and I'm sure they're Marlene's too. I mean, they are. Is how this is affecting the family. I mean, it just, you know, it is. All right, it's affecting the family, and that's why we're here. So, because things just aren't anywhere near what they used to be. It's affecting the children in a lot of ways. You know, we aren't as involved in what they're doing, both in school and extracurricular activities. They don't bring friends over like they used to. And they don't understand what's going on, as I don't either. But they don't because they don't understand what's going on. I think, I don't know. I think maybe it's like they're walking on eggshells all the time. I mean, they don't know if what they're doing or what they're thinking about doing, how it's going to affect, you know, the balance that exists right now. Am I being clear here?
Well, I'm certainly understanding more.
All right.
But is there something you felt you weren't being clear about? Or that
No,
was
I'm just
very-
asking
yeah,
you if I'm
yeah.
making any kind of
Yeah,
sense.
no,
I
sure.
feel like I'm just kind of rambling a little.
No.
And I'm trying to make sense of this myself.
Sure.
And I don't know. I feel like they're kind of missing out on things. I mean, they're almost like missing out on being kids. They're assuming an awful lot of things at home, and they're not as animated as they used to be. So they have to be feeling some kind of pressure. And it's, I don't know how else to say it except that it's like our world has gotten smaller.
Yeah.
All right, we don't interact with people like we used to. We don't interact with as many people as we used to. And I almost feel like they're not interacting with as many of their friends, peers as they were. I think they feel they have to be home a lot or more than they were, to kind of, I'm not imagining that, all right?
Yeah.
Right? You agree? They feel like they should be home more to kind of take care of things.
How old are they?
Jamie just turned 16, and Elizabeth will turn 13
Yeah, she's 12 now.
in April.
Yeah.
So they're kind of young for this, and
Yeah. You know, one of the things, I mean, I think those are, you know, important concerns. One of the things we've been very interested in is hearing both parents' points of view. And I wanted to give you more time to explain how you saw things, and then, Marlene, I wanted to ask you sort of how you saw them also. So, are there other particular concerns you have about the kids?
And this sounds more dramatic than I think it is, but it's the only way I know how to say it. I've always believed that whatever you do today is because of tomorrow. Okay? You never really live in the present. You're always living one day ahead or a week ahead or something like that. But I've always believed that. And whatever you do today is, you don't know how it's going to affect tomorrow, but there's always that, tomorrow might be new and exciting because of what I did today, you know what I mean? And it's like, we don't have tomorrow.
Mhm.
You know, it's, you okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that might sound a little dramatic, but I think you know what I'm talking about.
Well, it
It's
sounds
like
you've been through a lot.
it's,
Yeah.
you know, you get up, and I mean up emotionally, and it looks like today might be a good day. And well, gee, if today's going to be a good day, then well, maybe tomorrow will be an even better one. But if today's a good day in the morning, by the afternoon it could just degenerate into nothing. So it's like you don't want to get up anymore because you know you're only going to go back down. And I don't know, I don't know if that's how the kids would put it, but I think they probably feel that way too.
But that's certainly
And
how you see it.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah.
We've kind of lost our tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I want to get it back. I want to get it back for myself, for my wife, for the kids.
Yeah.
They need it.
Mhm.
We all need it. I
Mhm.
mean, this is...
And I do want to, Marlene, hear from you as well, but I also want to acknowledge I'm sure this has been very hard for you and very bewildering to both of you. And I'm sure also to the kids.
All right,
And,
come on, take it easy. Take it easy.
And you know, we don't have to talk about these things just this minute. I know it's been very painful.
Here,
And
you want one of these? You want one of these?
do you, go ahead.
I can't feel any tomorrows. But I don't want my kids to feel like that. Or Bob.
You don't want yourself to feel that way either. I mean, don't play a martyr here now, like you're going to give up everything for... I mean, you're part of this. We want you to be part of this.
Marlene, do you feel okay about telling me a little more of what your experience has been, or does it just seem too painful right now?
No, I don't mind telling you. I just... And I guess, I mean... You know, it's just I feel like I'm like in a living apology to my family, and you know, in some ways it may be better off if, you know, it would may be better off if I weren't around with them. I'm not really sure that this is the most positive. I know, I mean, we've talked, you know, and Dr. Pollan and I've talked, and I know that that's, you know, that that's not, you know, who say that that would not be a, that's not a, it wouldn't be better. But there are many times where I do have to question if it would not be. I don't know. I don't know how you get to this. I don't know how you get to this point. I mean, I can tell you the line. And
Well, I want to hear about that, but I want to ask you about right now. Do you feel that that you're getting some help from your doctor? And right now, do you feel like your family would be better off without you, or do you sometimes see the other side of it, that the doctor's been working with you, or even that
Well,
Bob feels?
it must be that at many moments that I see there's at least some value in talking. I mean, I would like to be able to do something. I'm not very good at doing anything anymore. But just by being here, I love my children.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure you do. Yeah. Yeah. And there's a kind of irony or paradox in that it may be very painful to talk about it, and yet that may offer some help. But I want to be sure that that's something that you want to do, not to please me or Bob, but really that you feel able to do now. Because I think if you don't feel able to do it, I would say that it's something we can do at a later time. Do you understand what I mean? And I also feel very strongly, if you, anytime we're working together, you just feel that it's too painful, don't want to continue a line of thought or talking about something, you should let me know. And I do feel very strongly that people who are wrestling with the kind of illness that you wrestle with do need to get treatment and do need to get help. That's why it's important to me that you feel you have a good link, a good alliance with your doctor. And again, I believe very strongly that if people feel that life isn't worth living, that they really get help with that. And I want to be sure that you and I are understanding each other, because I really don't want to proceed if you feel so desperate that you just moment to moment don't feel that life is worth living. I think we ought to stop and look at that and deal with that in whatever way is necessary.
Well, I guess I think what I can say to you honestly is that I want to believe life is worth working in. And that's what I would like in terms of with my children, that I would like some path to find that I could be doing something good for them, because I know how difficult you can't know what somebody else, exactly what somebody else perceives or feels, but I can imagine that there are many things I know have been very different. And even as the times when I can't do something, I stand outside, I see that I can't, and I'm sure that's had a great effect on the children. And maybe there's something that we can do.
Yes. Well, I think that's something I'd like to help you with, but I don't want you to, I want you to choose that for yourself, not because I'm here or Bob's here. And I don't want you to feel rushed in making that choice. Do you understand what I mean?
No, I would like to find, a piece of a puzzle or to do,
Right.
to put something in place. I know that, I know it won't be, you know, it's not going to be a perfect, everything will be, you know, that perfect picture, but I guess I keep thinking if I can, it's like walking through this, it's very hard to explain. It's just like it's like a curtain over you all the time. I keep feeling like, I guess, somewhere that if I can go through the curtain, get through, then, you know, something will be worthwhile and valuable and positive and loving and good on the other side. So I would like to find something to do.
And it's around you all the time at home. I mean, it's there.
I know that that's true. I mean, you see, I guess that's what's so difficult, and it's a very bizarre experience in a sense, because even at times when I can see and I can look and say, oh, there's this, and I hear you telling me you love me, and the children, and I see this and I see that, it doesn't go inside, and I can't explain why. If I could, then I would.
And you know, you're just getting to know me, and I'm just getting to know you, but I will make a comment about many people who've wrestled with depression have that experience. And I don't know how much the two of you have talked or how much you've heard of Marlene's story, but I know that oftentimes in our work, one member of the couple is surprised by something that the other said. And also family members and others often think, with the best of intentions, that depression is something that one ought to be able to cure oneself by force of will, by just stopping it, by just coming back to the way one used to be. And I think one of the things I'll talk to you about, your doctor may have talked to you about, is that we really understand depression differently, that it really is an illness like a heart attack that is serious, requires a period of recovery, but does get better over time. And it's not something that is really in the person and is by force of will something that they can change. Now, this may be some position you've heard a lot before, but I would.
It is, but there is a part of me that still, I think because that's what you're taught. You know, if you're blue, you know, you're not doing something right, and you change it. And yet, if you can't find what the blue is, where it's coming from, then you can't. It's just. But I guess that's part of my concern with the children, because I need to know if this is an illness, is this something I can pass on to them? I'm sure Bob has thought about this. Is this something that, like, waits for you, and when you reach a certain time, it's there? Is this, is there a way to better teach? So, I mean, can you teach yourself to know when you start to, if they feel like I don't know, going into a depression, but no, I don't, it's not I want them to be depressed, I mean...
No, but I'm saying you don't want to put a bug in their heads, too. I mean, you know, you never know, power of suggestion or something like that. You know,
and I have wondered about that,
so
too.
we've stayed away from talking to them about this at all. It's just,
Sure.
Because
But I wonder if looking at me, that doesn't go through their minds anyway.
it probably does, but
So maybe
I'd rather let a professional deal with it,
Right.
because there are times I want to say something, but I don't want to open my mouth because I don't want to say the wrong thing
Right.
and trigger God knows what. So I just keep quiet.
And I think those are very important concerns, and I think it probably is helpful to have someone to talk this over with and to plan what to tell the kids. I think the worries that you have are very important and ones that we can answer in time. But I would sort of, to give you a sense of how we might work together, I think what I would say is most important is that whatever the children are told, it's something that you understand and agree with, that it comes, whether it comes from me or from you, it's something that we have discussed and made sense of together first. Now, a second issue that I'm hearing is that you both have a shared concern for the kids and how they're doing, what's on their minds, what they've made of this, and perhaps also what's going to happen to them. Am I hearing that?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons we're here.
And I did want to ask you whether there were other concerns as well that either of you had individually or together, either about the kids or about other things that you either want to tell me about or had hoped we could address together.
I just,
Okay.
did you want to say
No,
something?
go ahead. Go ahead. You go. You go.
Just that I see Elizabeth doing very much what I did at her age, because I haven't been able to meet my responsibilities. So I worry that I've set her up to follow along, that if she starts, that she's, and with Jamie, the anger that, and diffidence that I see, I wonder if sometimes he's on the path of my father, and there's questions.
Was there something
And I
about-
don't see as much. I don't see anger as much as I just see frustration. I suppose anger can come of frustration, but I see more of that than anger.
And I actually had two questions. One was sort of to ask you about your father and what you meant, and the other is again to talk about what it's like for the two of you to talk about this. Have you talked about it a lot? Have you shared your concerns, or have you more kept things to yourselves?
We haven't really talked about it all that much. What you said earlier was actually made a couple of things clear when you say and when I said you're surrounded by positive things and love and all that stuff, you said, yeah, but it doesn't go inside. It just sort of hits you, bounces off, and falls on the floor. And that kind of ties in with what I was saying earlier. It's like, what's the use? just yeah, okay, it's the same as a heart attack or something like that, but the difference is, someone has a heart attack or has an operation or something, you can see the effects of the help that you're giving, whether it's to make them comfortable or help them get to the table or make a meal or take them out and get them some fresh air. You can see that you get feedback from that, and there just isn't any feedback here, and so it kind of gives birth to, hey, what's the use? And it's all pervasive. It affects how I go through my day. It's got to affect how the kids go through theirs. I'm just not as excited about my work as I used to be. I do it. And and I lost part of a team here. You know, Marlene would help me with, you know, she'd do the books and things like that. So in addition to a regular work, and it was, I own my own business, and so it's like we had a little bit of a